past now. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the DP presentation for grade 10. I will be talking about our DP program, and Miss Elisa after me will be talking about the university counselling program. We have Miss Twee, Mr. Young translating, so please be looking at the chat box for translation into Korean and Vietnamese, and please put any questions there. Any questions that Miss Elisa and I cannot answer today, we'll send those to those heads of department and subject specialists, and we'll get replies to you all over the next week or so. We're also recording this, so we will also send copies of the recordings as well as the PowerPoints to everyone in grade 10 and their parents. For the grade 10s, we will, when we're back on campus, hopefully very soon, have the taster day as well. And I will be sending you information in the form of a Google survey for your initial ideas as well. But I'm just going to ask Miss Elisa, are we okay sound-wise to start?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, so let's start. Okay, so we're preparing students for a world that doesn't even exist. And that's true across the board with an ISV student. We're preparing them to reach their full potential, to go wherever they want in the world, allow them to challenge themselves and challenge other people and work to their highest ability. And that's across the board. But that comes to fruition in the diploma program. And it starts in grades 9 and 10 for us with the IGCSE program as well. These two externally assessed qualifications allow students, parents, universities to feel comfortable that what is being taught is of the highest standard, has the highest rigor, and regardless of where you study these qualifications in the world, that you will have the same valid grade wherever you take it. And universities and employers value that level of validity and reliability of qualification. But there are many 16 qualifications. So why is the IB diploma, or even the IB as a continuing qualification, why is it important for the 21st century? Well, the most important thing for us is to prepare our students, you students, your sons and daughters, for this 21st century world in careers, in different things that might not yet exist. And IB qualifications at the center have a number of attributes and skills that will support and develop students. And actually, this has been happening and is happening throughout the school. From the moment you start at ISV, we are looking at these to develop these skills and attributes. Right in the center, we continue with the learner profile and the approaches to learning. It isn't just about being knowledgeable and having knowledge. It's about thinking and questioning that knowledge. It's about being open-minded to challenging different viewpoints and ideas. It's about taking risks or caring for each other and reflecting. It's about developing those research skills that Wikipedia and Google are not your only source. It's about ensuring that your time management and the way that you work, you develop these skills. So the learner profile and the approaches to learning are something that across ISV we're developing, and they're honed, they're finalized as we move into the diploma program, because certainly those are skills and attributes needed at university. And important at the moment, as we've moved the secondary school to our virtual secondary school online, but actually online learning platforms support the learning here at ISV. Using things like ManageBack to track tasks that students are doing, using plagiarism checkers like Turnitin so students learn to cite and reference properly other people's ideas and works is important. Using suites like Google, allowing people to email, to create documents, share documents across the world. These are important. IB has been at the forefront of online learning for many years and understand that schools like ISV that are small schools cannot always offer every single IBDP qualification. So they have worked with Pomoja to offer DP subjects online. And we have a number of students that have chosen at an additional cost to study things like economics or psychology, subjects that we as a small school have not been able to offer, but they're equally as valid when it comes to being part of the diploma program. And Miss Elisa will go into a little more detail when she talks about the university counselling, but we have a great platform, Maya Learning, that we use, which will allow students to be gathering evidence and preparing for that next step post-18. So online learning platforms are not just important at the moment in ISV, they've always been important for us. So the IB diploma program, what does it look like? So right in the center, we've got the learner profile. That's the most important thing, central actually to all of the programs, PYP, MYP, and DP. And again, so are the approaches to learning. These areas we develop all the way through the school. A diploma program, in comparison to other post-16 qualifications, we have what we call the IB diploma program core. Theory of knowledge, extended essay, creativity, activity, and service. regardless of which diploma program subjects you take from those 6 groups we can see there, everybody will take those 3 core elements. Why? Because IB believe that these are fundamental skills to develop pre-university. And actually, these are areas that universities really do want to see in students coming in. In UK, the IB diploma students that finish the first year is higher than their A-level counterparts. That means the dropout rate for an IB student, at least in the UK, is significantly lower than their A-level counterparts. Some attribute that to the fact that the IB program has challenged them and developed them not only in content, but also in skills. But let's look at these 3 areas. Theory of knowledge. It's about questioning how we learn. It's about questioning knowledge. Understanding at the age of 16 and 17 how we learn, reflecting on that and improving on that is something that is very powerful, because it's the questioning of knowledge that results in changes to knowledge. And this is going to be important for everybody. And this has been important throughout history. I have an example. If you close your eyes for a second, I'd like to imagine a map of the world, the flat map of the world, the one that you've seen in books or studied in school. What's at the center of the map? Myself, growing up in Europe, had this map where you can see that, to an extent, Europe has quite a prominent place. Sometimes, actually, Europe can be right in the center. However, when I've discussed this with Miss Elisa, she's drawn a different picture where the Americas are at the center. And then some of my Asian colleagues have turned around and put the Pacific Rim at the center. Which one's right? It's all the map of the world. It's all giving the same information. Or is it the way we interpret that knowledge and what we place at the center? Many years ago on Europeans, questioning that the world map will look different for different people and why is fundamental. And this is what the core theme of the knower has in theory of knowledge. For me, this is the most important part that sets DP apart from other programs. And it's, for me, the most important. It actually is the first condition for passing the diploma program. You must pass the CAS program. Ensuring that students continue to develop their creative edge, ensuring that they develop a healthy lifestyle and keep active, and most importantly, giving back to the community, local, national, global. This will develop a student into a rounded individual. Each student will develop their own CAS program, unique to them, of how they, using the CAS learning outcomes, want to develop those 3 areas. It really is empowering to watch students in school and outside school develop in these 3 areas. Just some examples here of students creating music groups, supporting students in sporting activities. And from a few years ago there, it was some grade 11 students who were running activities for the Mid-Autumn Festival. So working with our younger students. Just a snapshot of some of the many activities done in school. And finally, the extended essay. 4,000 word independent research essay, the time when a student at DP level gets to study what they want. Quite challenging, 4,000 words. When you get to university, it's quite normal. But actually, post-16 programs don't normally have such a type of activity. Think at university when you first had to do your major research project. It was quite daunting. We work with students through a supervisor in the same subject area to support them as they write their 4,000 word independent investigation. It really is an opportunity for students to study in depth something that they've always wondered about relating to one of their diploma program subjects. So the core of theory of knowledge, CAS, and the extended essay, all students at diploma level take that. And that is what separates IBDP students from students in other qualifications. You can see this is what will prepare them for their next stage. And how is the IB diploma assessed? As we've said, it is an externally assessed qualification worldwide. Normally in the May of grade 12, they will sit their exams in each subject, and that equates to around 70 to 80% of their final mark per subject. And because it's not all based on the exam, there is usually 20 to 30% of internal assessment. What does that look like in each subject? It can vary very much. From in languages, it can be presentations and discussions of language and literature, to historical or business investigations, scientific investigations, or mass explorations. Music and arts, very much a practical side. We've got composing and performing, as well as the production of art exhibitions. So that balance there of ensuring that students have the rigor of a final exam, but also can demonstrate and guide their own internal assessment is again something that will stand them in good stead for university. And at ISV, we are, through everything we do, trying to get students to aim higher, to stretch themselves more. And we do that in a number of ways through our wider curriculum. Obviously, the ECAs. Actually, in grades 11 and 12, we find that students are actually wanting to create and run ECAs, and with a teacher sponsor rather than just join an ECA. We also have students creating and participating in charity organisations, things like Plentiful Peace. University counselling, Miss Elisa will talk about a little bit more, but actually that's a really important part of our wider curriculum. As well as opportunities to develop through things like our TEDx talks and the Model United Nations. What we're looking for is to develop a student, as you can see there, that has confidence in themselves, that knows what they're doing, that can articulate and negotiate these. Because these are the skills, and this is the type of student that we want to make sure is successful, not only at ISV, but also as they move forward. So the IB diploma at ISV really does give many possibilities to open many doors moving forward for university and careers. It does build on what has been established in lower secondary and our IGCSE curricula. With the online Pomoja courses, we broaden that slightly. And as I said, our Aim Higher program supports those post-18 opportunities. Now, we will be sending out a survey to students to look in more detail about these blocks. These are the initial blocks. There'll be some slight movement depending on student choice. However, it's important that students realise that out of the 6 subjects they must take, everyone must take some form of English, everyone takes some form of a second language, everyone takes some form of science, maths, and humanities. And then the 6th group, which here is, you can see is our block 6, has the arts-based subjects of music and visual arts, but also has combinations and some subjects from other areas. So for example, we can see geography there, again, allowing for double humanities. I think in the past, history sometimes is sat there. We've got computer science, again, allows students to have the ITGS, ICT qualification, as well as the computer science. And chemistry, as we have many biochemists needing both of those, or chemistry and physics, more for the engineering side. So again, for a small school, you can see that the current block system does offer a very, very wide level of subjects. And actually, it's important to say that once students make their initial choices, they will have a short interview with Miss Elisa or myself in order to make sure that any choices they're making at DP level will support them as they move towards university. Sometimes some countries have specific requirements. So we make sure that as they're making these choices, that we keep as many of those doors open as possible. You've had the student, the subject guide booklet. As I said, students will have opportunity to join the taster sessions when we get back on campus. Because we really are making sure that with our diploma program, that as the tagline says there, that we are preparing our students to be without borders. Thank you very much. So, do we have Miss Elisa any questions in English? And then I will go from the chat to Miss Jin Young and Miss Thuy if there's anything from the Vietnamese and Korean translations. But Miss Elisa, did you notice any particular questions there in the chat?
No, I'm going to pass that to Vietnamese and Korean translations.
Okay. Obviously, I'll take any particular questions in a second in English. But I will just see if there's any particular questions there. So Miss Jin Young, any questions from the Korean community?
So far, there's no question.
Okay, obviously, if there are any questions at any point, then we can tackle them. If not today, then we will send those in and we will ensure that we get a kind of frequently asked questions back to you. Miss Thuy.
Ms. Thuy says there's no Vietnamese questions at the moment.
No Vietnamese questions at the moment. Okay, unfortunately, I cannot. I'm going to stop sharing my screen just now. I cannot see everybody on my screen at the moment, but if you do have a question, if you would like to unmute your mic and give that question, then we'll try to answer it at the moment.
Hello, Ken. I have a question.
Yes, Mr.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. My name is Hùng. I'm Coach's father. I was in another meeting, so I did not follow all the presentation, but I hope it will be shared later on.
We will send this. We'll send the recording as well as the PowerPoint back out to you. So if you've missed anything, you can check again.
Yeah, thank you. So my question now is do I need to register or to do any action to register for my son on the IB program, or it is automatically registered or promoted to IP program if we yeah.
An
Yeah.
excellent question. Thank you, Mr. Hung. An excellent question. According to our admissions policy, which is available on the school's website, students from grade 10 will move into the diploma program. Depending on their GCSE and ISV grades will depend as to which level we will allow them to study. One thing I failed to mention, and I apologize, is that students will take 6 subjects, 3 of those at higher level and 3 at standard level. The norm is that a student would need a C grade to study that subject at standard grade and a minimum of a B at higher level. Again, Miss Elisa and I work with the teachers to look at these student offers because sometimes maybe there's a little problem with one of those grades in a final exam, which wouldn't stop the student taking that particular subject. But we expect all students to pass through to the diploma program. And as I said, full details are in the admissions policy, which is on the school website.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So just clarify. So it means that is if he passed the C grade at the end of this year, grade 10, and then he need to select 3 advanced subjects and 3 how do you call that? It's a normal
3
subject
standard and 3 higher.
3 standard and 3 higher. So it, yeah, it should be okay.
Yeah, and we will have we will have interviews with all of the students, and obviously parents, when it comes to parent teachers, that is something that you can talk about with the actual subject teachers as well.
Yeah, okay, thank you. When will be the deadline for that selection or registration?
The information that was in the subject booklet that I sent out, and we will honor this, the initial choices will be due by the 1st of April, and the final choices will be due by the 1st of August.
Okay, yeah, still time, yeah.
So,
okay,
and we will send information and reminders out nearer the time, obviously.
Okay, yeah, clear. Thank you very much. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, well, I think we will move on, and Miss Elisa now will present about the sideline and integrated into the grade 11 and 12 program as part of the diploma, and that's university counselling. So, Miss Elisa.
I received a question from Steve in the chat box, so can we please wait?
Of course, yes.
Hi, thank you. So I'm kind of new to the school. I just like went to school for like the 4th. This is the 4th week. So like I kind of did not learn anything for the past 3 weeks. So when taking the exam, could I have like a discount for the grade? Because I didn't learn anything.
A very good question there, Stephen. Yes, your circumstance is a little different. Again, but if you read the admissions policy, it does say that we look at this as a faculty. So we would be discussing with your teachers your progress throughout this year, as well as looking at your previous reports to make sure the bottom line here is making sure that you're fully prepared to be able to tackle the subjects that you want to study. So do not worry, as I said, if especially now in semester 1, because you've recently joined us, if your grades are not as high as you know, as they would have been had you been here with us in August. Do not worry about that.
Okay. And
okay.
One more question.
Of course.
My math teacher, Miss Anati, right? She said that we are starting for the extended math. So if we like want to change to core, we have to like pay, right? Is that right?
I think that's a question. When we're talking about the GCSE entries, more information will be coming out about those. But if you were to move between, if you would register for one of the maths courses and you move between them, I would need to check with the exams officer, would there be a financial penalty? You have to pay to register for the exams, obviously, but
Okay.
moving between one tier extended to the core, I've jotted that one down, and I will get the clarification there from the exams officer and ask him or Miss Anita, who's your maths teacher, to inform all of your maths class with that answer. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I think with that, if we have no more questions, then we shall move on to